Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Channel 8 sports presentation. This afternoon here from Vince Lombardi Field, it is East Brunswick versus Old Bridge in a Greater Middlesex Conference Red Division game. Hi, I'm Jimmy Allinder, being joined by Phil Hill. It is Thanksgiving Day, Phil.
Yes, it is.
And a renewal of a rivalry that is in its third year.
Well, the interesting thing, it's a renewal of a rivalry in its third year, and there's rumors that this rivalry could end next year.
That's what I hear.
That Old Bridge is thinking about going to the Shore Conference. I think it would be a shame. I think they belong in the Red Division of the GMC. And they're established something here against East Brunswick, and to change that tradition that is just starting for Thanksgiving would be terrible.
Well, I know Marcus Borden, the East Brunswick coach, has been very vocal and supportive of this rivalry. He says that this is one of the biggest goals of the year for East Brunswick is to win the Route 18 trophy, which is awarded every year. Right. Well, let's talk about this game this afternoon. The weather, which can be a factor sometimes, this being late November, doesn't appear to be, at least there's not that much wind this afternoon.
It shouldn't affect either team. Both of these teams are almost mirror teams. I mean, both these teams are teams that are led by the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks are the leading rushers. Interestingly enough, each quarterback has thrown for 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, so not a whole lot of throwing going on.
Right.
And they both run the wishbone, of course.
Okay, East Brunswick, Scott Hops, and for Old Bridge?
Dan Lanzafama.
Right. Okay. All right.
The interesting thing is that I don't think they've ever met, even when it was Madison Central, have they ever met where both teams have come in under 500. I talked to Bob DeMarco, and he says he can't recall that ever happening before. So they're down. I'll tell you about Old Bridge. DeMarco said the kids are devastated. Yeah. I said, how are you dealing with the season? He said they're devastated. They came in expecting a better, a quality year this year. They knew they were very young, but they didn't expect anything happening like that has happened. They're 2-6 right now.
You know, when I talked to Marcus Borden before the season began, I asked him, who do you think is going to be the major challenger in the Red Division? He said the championship goes through Old Bridge. So you got to believe that Borden is as shocked as DeMarco is regarding how this season has gone on. Let's talk a little bit about East Brunswick, though, as far as what we can expect from them today.
Well, I'll tell you, the East Brunswick, if we go back, it's a year of could-have-beens.
Yeah.
When you realize that they lost 3 games in the last seconds, not the last minute, Jim. In the last seconds, you're talking about the Piscataway game, you're talking about the Cedarville game, and you're talking about, what's the other game?
Oh, gosh. Woodbridge, perhaps? No, not Woodbridge.
One Woodbridge, Piscataway, Cedarville, and
well, regardless, there was a lot of games where they
South Brunswick in the last seconds, the last seconds there, and that could have been a different year for them, you know. But they're going to come in here, try to win this trophy today, and they would love nothing better than to beat Old Bridge. What they have to do really is what they've done all year, control the ball. The bad news for the Bears is that Old Bridge is playing the best ball that they've played all year. Mm-hmm. The good news for them is that East Brunswick has one of the best rushing defenses in the county. They've been able to shut down a lot of very good talented running offenses, so it should be a very balanced game.
Right, and I think one benefit, though, for East Brunswick is that having practice against the wishbone, there is some familiarity with it as well.
That's for sure.
Okay, we're going to talk more about this as we get underway. Right now we're going to take a break. It is East Brunswick at Old Bridge. We'll be back with the action in just a moment. All right, we are back here at Vince Lombardi Field in Old Bridge on a somewhat sunny day, Phil. Looks like East Brunswick is going to be kicking off. They will be going from our left to your right on the screen. And back for Old Bridge will be number 29, Wes Mironoff.
And number 13, Jose Rosa.
Okay, Mironoff, the leading ball carrier. Rather compact player.
You tell me he's a fine wrestler as well, Jim?
No, well, he is a wrestler. What I know of him is that he originally comes from Monroe Township, which is where I reside. Was a star player on the Wolverine football team, and vacated the premises.
Okay.
Came to Old Bridge, where he lives. And anyway,
there we go.
Okay, Chris Bettis kicks off as he has all year. Mironoff drops it, and he's going to be surrounded here, and wisely steps out of bounds.
I'll tell you, an auspicious start for the Knights. Many would say they've fumbled the season thus far with the great expectations that we talked about coming in. But again, DeMarco points out they're a very young team. They have 9 of the 11 on offense are underclassmen, and 7 of the 11 on defense are underclassmen.
All right, Lenzafama, number 1, is the quarterback. Old Bridge will set up shop on the 20-yard line. Give to Mironov right up the middle. Doesn't get much.
And we talked about it at the top of the game. The good news for the Bears is that they are one of the tougher teams against the run in the county. They've shut down some pretty good runners, and Old Bridge, by and large, runs the true wishbone. They do nothing but run.
Gain of 1 on the play, making it 2nd and 9 for Old Bridge. The Purple Knights, as they're called. That ball's handed off to number 27. That is Barrett. You talked about him, Phil.
And Barrett is just a freshman and a super young player there. Bob DeMarco says he is so fine that he brought him up 2 games ago, and the young fella has paid off.
And he gets 3 yards on his initial carry, and that makes it 3rd and 6 for the Purple Knights. Just underway here, 11 minutes left in the first quarter, no score.
And most teams might pass here, but I don't think you'll see it with the Knights.
Mironov, and late pitch. Mike Krzdwinski.
Okay, and
takes that pitch, and that's a good for a first down.
And as I said, Jim, most teams would pass in that situation. Old Bridge has always been true, like Madison Central, true to wishbone. They'll stay with it. Very rarely will they pass, but an all-important first down for them.
Phil, how important is it for the ends to in the wishbone situation?
Well, they got to contain. Everybody has a job to do, Jim, in defending the wishbone. If they do the job, most of the times they can shut it down. It's just so very...
Yeah, it is difficult. Yeah. Okay, looks like Mironov.
Yeah. Very difficult for young fellas because your initial instinct is not to cover territory. Your initial instinct is certainly to go to the ball.
Right.
That's what you're taught basically from Pop Warner. And defending the wishbone, you have assignments that you have to do in order to contain it.
All right, Mironov gets 3 yards. The ball's up to about the 40-yard line. You also talked about the importance of the fullback in the wishbone.
I've always believed the most important player in the wishbone outside the quarterback is the fullback, that initial dive.
Okay.
You got to make them respect it.
2nd and 7. Lenzafama takes it himself. Had some room up the middle and a lot of deception there.
I'll tell you, American in on the tackle. You're right,
yeah.
Lenzafama, we know he can go, and it seems like there's always been a Lenzafama around, Jim.
Yes.
He had an older brother that's gone, and then he's got a young sophomore, Dan, I believe, who's on this team as well. So we're going to be stuck with Lanzafamas for a while. Lenzafama himself.
Well, Dan is the one right out there now.
Right, he's just a junior, so he'll be back.
And you thinking of Anthony?
His brother that graduated,
right.
And then he's got a young one, Matt, who's on the team as well.
Okay, here we go. Another first down for the Knights as they move. They started on the 20-yard line. 9:30 to go. And
fumble.
Fumble? And a flag, or was that just
That's just the marker.
Yeah, okay.
And we talk about the wishbone being a high-risk offense. It's not usually a high-risk offense from the straight dive and whatnot. It's usually from that pitch that you that you do there. But again, it's an offense where you have to read, Jim. Supposedly the quarterback doesn't know what he's going to do until the action happens. Very difficult.
All right, fumble at the line of scrimmage, making it 2nd and 10 for Old Bridge. East Brunswick creeping up. Looks like they're going to send somebody. And a nice stop there by number 66 for East Brunswick.
I'll tell
That's
you.
Larry Benson, linebacker.
Benson doing a very nice job.
Right.
Standing them up and for no gain.
Okay, another 3rd and long, 3rd and 10, let's call it, at the East Brunswick 47-yard line.
And I said usually when they're in the wishbone that they wouldn't pass from this situation. You got to believe they're going to go to the air. He's only completing 38% of his passes here, but seems like a passing situation where he's got to go, Jim.
Mironov drops back. Lofts one high.
Wide open.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know who missed the coverage on that.
Coverage there.
Well, you have Serapin down there, Phil. What is he doing down there?
Well, Serapin's been playing that. They've wanted a big hitter and some speed back there, but nobody kept up with that tight end there. You got to wonder where the free safety probably should have had that fella if in fact they were playing zone.
All right, fourth down. Old Bridge will go for it. No, I'm sorry. Dropping back to punt is number 32. Okay, that is Pat Shanks. Deep for East Brunswick is Merrigan. Oh, almost blocked. It's a wobbly kick and let go.
It's a good kick for the Knights.
Right, it was a nice kick. And that bounces all the way down to about the 12-yard line, where East Brunswick will start its first possession of the afternoon.
East Brunswick did contain the Knights here, and you're going to see the Bears get their offense going. And as I said, pretty similar offenses. Both teams, their quarterbacks run the ball in an inordinate amount of time and hope to break one. But the Bears' wishbone appears to be a little more powerful than the Knights' wishbone, Jim.
Okay, we'll see. Well, Scott Hopp says he has all season long been the quarterback, number 8, running backs. Well, it looks like, is that Merrigan back there? Chris Bettis, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Merrigan. I thought just called the 6 there.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, anyway, Chris Bettis, the fullback, takes the initial carry, and as we have often seen this year, Phil, East Brunswick has good surge on its offensive line.
They do. The offensive line's been doing a very good job this year. But you're right. They got to get that fullback going first. You get the fullback, you sort of pull them in, and then perhaps you can pop something else.
One of the bright spots in East Brunswick's season has been the play of that offensive line. 2nd and 6. Hops pitches to Corio, and excuse me, that's not Corio.
That's Brad Pleasant. And Brad Pleasant has been a pleasant surprise. South Brunswick scored 2 touchdowns and did some very fine running. Marcus obviously getting ready for next year.
Right.
And letting the young sophomore have some time.
And no gain on that play, so it'll bring up a 3rd and 7.
Okay.
Ball resting on the 15-yard line.
Tough area to pass from in here, Jim. You really don't like to get into passing situation right from here.
East Brunswick is not a passing team.
Counter
to Corio. Doesn't find anything though.
I'll tell you, the Knights defense looking awfully tough. You know, they're keeping everything on the ground, playing safe. It's still early here for the Bears and whatnot. But again, the Knight defense looking awfully tough. Pat Shanks. Number 32, a linebacker. You're going to hear an awful lot about him. He's one of the leading tacklers for this Knight team.
All right, Old Bridge should get the ball in good field position. They're back for them at about the 45. It's number 82, Kevin Freaker, and number 6.
Postel, a freshman. He's not on the roster. You won't find him on the roster.
I'm sorry.
Malcolm Postel.
Yeah, he's there. Okay.
Remember that name.
Number 86 is Tim New. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's blocked.
Good block. And
I'll tell you.
Okay. So Old Bridge is going to get excellent field position. That ball was recovered by number 56.
Okay, Jim, did you catch who got the block?
No, I didn't get it. I was busy down here watching the receivers.
No, 32 picked it up.
Okay.
Well, okay, 32 picked it up. I saw 26 Bettis in there, and I don't know if that was Corio or not.
All right. This is Lanzafama. Handoff. Again, not much running room.
Not much running room at all.
Right. And let's say a gain of about 1 yard, making it 2nd and 9 for the Knights. That block kick gives them good field position. There's 5:40 left to go in the first period. No score between East Brunswick and Old Bridge. This is the Thanksgiving Day game.
And that was Serapin coming in, I believe.
Joel Serapin. We'll have to talk a little bit about him.
I'll tell you.
Lanzafama gives it to number 27.
And that's Barrett, the freshman. Again, Barrett brought up 2 games ago. Barrett had 148 yards on 7 carries against Edison, scored 2 touchdowns against Hillsborough, and Bob DeMarco said he's here to stay.
Gain of 4 on the play, making it 3rd and 5. Mironoff and Barrett are in the backfield for Old Bridge. That's Lanzafama. And And he keeps it himself and is tackled nicely.
I'll tell you, the Bears have done it. Bears, as you say, Jim, they practice. They see the wishbone every day of the week that they practice and whatnot. So you're not going to come up with too much to surprise them there.
Well, Bettis was the one that grabbed Lanzafama. Only got a gain of yards, so this is an important fourth down situation. Old Bridge electing not to go for any field goal.
They're going to shoot the field goal and run the wishbone, and you might look for a pitch off here.
4th and 4. Key spot in this game, and nothing fancy.
And he didn't get it, Jim.
No, he didn't even come close on that.
He didn't get it.
So East Brunswick with a very nice stop there.
Okay, I tell you, the Knights looking rather conservative. Again, that is their offense, but you might have thought they might have tried to come up with something else. To no avail.
Okay, so East Brunswick will take over on its 10-yard line. Now, they have not had good field position. This is their second possession, and they have to be somewhat conservative themselves.
That's for sure.
And they give up the middle.
To Pleasant, and he slammed back.
He gets nothing. Pleasant, not really the largest of players, no, listed as 5'3", 135.
Very smallish, but a very quick-like fella. Like, sort of reminds you of the Flea. Remember the Flea years ago in
yes.
NFL?
Yep.
Very smallish, but quick.
Well, Pleasant somehow squirms for 2 yards on that play, so we'll make it 2nd and 8.
And Pleasant goes to the sidelines right now.
Hops positioning his backfield. This could be a passing play.
I doubt it, Jim.
All right. That's a counter. Good stick there by number 82 from Old Bridge. Justin Swanson applies a tackle on Corio.
Okay.
You know, the most success East Brunswick has had running the ball has been with Hops carrying the ball himself.
That's pretty much like Old Bridge Knights. The most success they've had is with Lanzafama carrying the ball. So, and I think with young teams or teams that are developing, when you have a good athlete at quarterback, you want to keep the ball in his hands.
3rd and 5, let's call it. Ball on the 15, just as it was before. And Hops, I believe, is going to take it.
And he's brought down.
Boy, I'll tell you what, the going's very tough down there today.
The going's very tough. First of all, this is both coaches thinking field position. There's a game of field position here. We're not going to do anything stupid to give you an advantage in field position here. So to the fans that are watching, it may seem rather conservative, but the coaches know these teams are very balanced, and one mistake can be the big difference in this game here. So they're going to play it close to the chest.
All right, Bettis is going to try again here. This is just a duplicate of the last situation. Postel and Swanson are deep for Old Bridge. And let's see that rush again from Old Bridge. Here they come. And Bettis gets off a wobbly kick. Not too much distance on that.
And it drops dead.
It's not the best of kicks we've seen from Chris Bettis.
We've seen much better, and gives the Knights excellent field position here.
Right. Ball is on the 37-yard line of East Brunswick with no score in this game. Just a minute 46 left to go in the first period of this annual Turkey Day Classic. Good crowd here, as usual. You get a lot of alumni that show up for the Thanksgiving Day games.
Oh, it's just a great time for family.
Lanzafama comes to the left. He's got some room now. Pitches wide to Mironov. And Mironov slipped a little bit.
And Mironov's hurt, Jim.
Yeah,
he's
something
hurt.
Happened to him.
His leg as he went down. And,
well, that looks to me like a hamstring.
And he's the second leading rusher for these Knights here. Lanzafama leads with 609 yards. Mironov has 572 yards coming in this game, and to have him out of the game would be a big loss for the Knights.
I thought he tripped, but obviously the hamstring just pulled on him, and that's a very painful injury.
And he's still on the sidelines. That's Wesley Mironov, 5'4", 160-pound senior.
They're going to wait while Mironov is attended to, even though he's out of bounds. nonetheless, that was a first down run for Old Bridge, so they're going to have a first down on the 26-yard line. Another threat.
I'll tell you, the bad news is that Marinoff is down for the Knights. The good news probably is that Barrett probably will be in there.
Right.
Jim, let's talk a little about the possibility of Old Bridge moving to the Shore Conference.
Yeah, that is surprising. Well, it's not so much surprising because Old Bridge does border Monmouth County, and conferences don't necessarily pay homage to any particular counties, but to me, it would be a blow for the GMC.
No doubt about it.
Old Bridge has always been, when it was Madison Central and Cedar Ridge, a constant, and to have them leave the conference, I think would be somewhat of a blow for everything.
It would be a blow to the conference and certainly to the Red Division, particularly since the White Division seems like they've taken over the power. We see Marinoff getting up, Jim. He's not going to return to this game today.
It doesn't look like it.
And that's unfortunate because Wesley is a senior, and this is his last game. And here we go.
Okay, first down, Old Bridge. Pitch wide, and that looks like a touchdown. That's Kwasinski. No coverage out there.
I'll tell you.
But it looks like the defensive end there for East Brunswick bit.
Well, everything was so tight in, Jim.
Yeah.
Everything has been running tight, and when you go there, and most people, Jim, think of that as the option. That's not the option. The wishbone offense itself is an option, and that's one of the things that you can do off it.
24-yard touchdown coming with 1:13 left in the first period. Kick by Lanzafama finds its way through the uprights. So it is Old Bridge 7, East Brunswick nothing.
And Mike,
it's hard to pronounce his name. Chris
I'm from South River. I should be able to pronounce this, but Chris Winsky will give that at 5'7", 165-pound junior.
Right.
And number 24 takes off for about a 24-yard touchdown.
And the Purple Knights first to put points on the board. Should mention that this series is tied 1-1. This is the third.
That's right.
Year that they've played this, and we talked about what a blow Old Bridge leaving. I guess it would be a blow to East Brunswick as well, because they are always a tremendous rivalry, no matter what the sport is.
That's for sure.
Hey, our congratulations to the East Brunswick girls soccer team.
What a tremendous job.
The 7th state title last night, Tuesday night, beating Westfield 1-0.
Heard it was a tremendous game. A little wind blown, but a tremendous game. But I think they end up 25-0.
25-0, Coach Lou Cosa. There's the kickoff. Looks like, is that Bettis that gathers it in? Has some room.
Ooh.
One tackle.
That's Corio.
Okay, Dan Corio takes it, and East Brunswick will be on the 24-yard line. Believe it or not, that's the best field position they've had.
Okay, and I think you may see things loosen up a little bit, Jim.
Right.
That score there is, you may see the Bears not play so close to the vest. This is the last game of the year, and
well, they can afford to. Hops looking for Merrigan. Nice catch.
Nothing but hands. Brian Merrigan, and Brian just a junior. He's got another year, but you like the way, gotta like the way he plays the game.
Right. Gain of 6 on the play, so it'll be a 2nd and 4. Clock continues to roll. 50 seconds left in the first quarter. Old Bridge now up 7-0 on that touchdown, scored just a moment ago. You know, I've been covering games at this field for quite a few years. This is about as good a shape as I've seen this field.
Is that right?
Especially on a Thanksgiving day.
Two split wide left, Jim.
Hops keeps it himself, and he's wrapped up.
Oh, mercy, number 99.
Justin Daly.
Justin Daly, and all Bob DeMarco says is that he's the best football player on the team.
Okay.
Justin Daly, defensive end and also a tight end. DeMarco said he's the best football player we have.
Well, that's saying a lot.
And I tell you, when you consider these teams are so much alike, 99 for the Bears, Joel Serapin, also a physical and tough player.
All right, that's the end of the first quarter with that run. The score, 7-0 Old Bridge. And the teams will switch places. It's going to be a 3rd and about 7 for East Brunswick. And boy, they have not had too much success this afternoon, Phil.
Well, they may have to go away from the pure wishbone and come and do something else there. That Old Bridge defense, again, just like the Bears, are used to seeing the wishbone themselves and whatnot, and seem thus far have handled the Bears rather easily. So you may see the Bears, and Marcus is capable of making the adjustments to do something else.
Okay, this is going to be the final game for a number of seniors on this East Brunswick team. We should mention number 2, Alfred Pham, number 4, Yosef Sherman, Baijal Patel, Shardell Kapar, Eric Merchant, of course Chris Bettis, Jason Brenner, Wes Cosentino, Pete Borden, Adam Goldstein, Adam Greenhut, Mike Rosenberg, Kevin Freaker, Jason Saunders, and Joel Serapin. And our congratulations to you finalizing your careers this afternoon.
And that was Wes Celestino, not Costantino, Wes Celestino.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And here come the Bears.
Okay, a 3rd down and 5. Hops looks like he's going to pass it. And a nice grab there by American.
Down. And I told you, Jim, Marcus is going to get away from the pure wishbone a little bit to come up with something else, because right now the Knights seem to be right on top of that wishbone. Hops hasn't been able to get out of his tracks when he runs it, and they've shut down the other backs as well. So
obviously that leaves something open for the pass.
All right, so you're going to see them mix it up a little bit. And
that's the first down for East Brunswick this afternoon, and it'll allow them to set up shop on their own 46-yard line.
And Hops a little better passer than Lanzafama. Hops completing 48% of his passes.
Give up the middle.
That's Corey, I believe. Or is that Bettis?
Yes.
That's Bettis.
Gain of about 3. Diversity is the name of the game with this wishbone.
Well,
you got to do a lot of different things.
Keeping them off balance, that's all, Jim.
Correa goes out.
Petty spread wide
Petty
left.
And Merrigan to the right. Hops is going to throw again. Maybe he's looking long. He pumps once. And that ball is thrown out of bounds.
Unfortunately, well covered. You got 3 defenders down there on Brian Merrigan.
Well, what they were hoping for, Phil, was for the defender to come up and bite on that pump fake.
That's right, a hitch and go. And,
right, didn't work.
And the Knights were just right there.
So it's a 3rd and about 7 for East Brunswick. They're down 7-0.
And I think you can look for the Bears to continue to pass right here. And American spread wide left.
And Hops is in a shotgun now. A lot of receivers. Caught, and that would be a 1st down.
All right. Number 4.
For East Brunswick, that's Sherman.
Yosef Sherman, wide receiver. And I don't know, that may be his first reception.
I was going to say, we haven't called his name all season long.
First one I've seen, Jim, and it's an all-important 1st down by the young fella. Yosef Sherman, a 5'10", 142-pound senior.
So the ball is resting on the 40-yard line. This is the deepest penetration for East Brunswick.
And surprised Hops has thrown so well considering how cold the ball is.
And here's the shotgun again. 3 receivers on this side.
Oh, mercy.
Not a bad pass, actually.
Not a bad pass. I think if the receiver's looking in a little bit.
Right.
You got to leave your feet sometimes for a pass there.
Merchant was the intended receiver.
Eric Merchant, right. I think Eric saw it a little bit late, but if he saw it earlier, he would have been able to dive a little bit. But look, interesting, the Bears are going to the passing offense, Jim.
Yep.
Not even trying to hide it, going directly into the shotgun.
Okay, another shotgun formation. You've got receivers split all over the place here. Gathered in. That's That's Sherman again.
Sherman again. And Jim, does this remind you of something?
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Last year, what was the young quarterback's name? We're forgetful.
Kilkenny?
Klein.
Oh, yeah, Justin Klein.
Justin Klein came in and passed all over the place and almost pulled out the big upset.
Okay, Bob DeMarco, the Old Bridge coach, is going to call timeout and talk things over.
Right, he's going out there to make some adjustments. What has happened is, Jim, is Bob has prepared this team to defend the wishbone, and they've done just that. They've stopped the Bears in their tracks in regards to the wishbone. Marcus made some adjustments, went to the passing attack, and now DeMarco's out there to make some adjustments again to make sure his team can possibly handle this passing attack. Again, Scott Hops doing a fine job passing the ball, considering how cold it is out here. Usually the ball gets a little harder and a little more slippery, Jim. And so for him to pass as well as he has, a good sign for the Bears.
It sure is. Well, we talked about all the seniors on this team. A number, though, are going to be coming back for East Brunswick. That's also a good sign. And quarterback situation is going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting because Petty's the quarterback. A lot of people believe Ryan Costantino. The bad thing about that is Ryan hasn't even had a chance to get any snaps in practice after he injured his shoulder. Is he going to be able to, between what he does in the summer and early next year, is he going to be able to get into the rhythm to handle this wishbone?
Well, he certainly has the size, though.
If, in fact, they stick with the wishbone.
I was going to say, he's a 6'2", 192-pound sophomore.
More of a drop-back passer, but you got to believe they're going to go with most of the team knows.
All right, 3rd and 4. Hops.
Ooh.
Not a pass was, I don't know if it was tipped or what.
No, Hops was backing up as he threw that pass there. And if he would have stepped forward, he probably would have nailed Merrigan on it.
Okay, 4th down, about 4 yards to go. 10:21 left to go in the second period. 7-0 is the score. Old Bridge on top. And East Brunswick, like I say, sending all kinds of people to the left and right. Nobody deep. And there's Petty was open. And there's a shot to Sherman.
And Sherman holds on to it.
Yeah, I thought he bobbled it for a moment, but that was good for a first down.
Yusef Sherman with his second reception now.
Third reception.
Third reception and another key one for a first down here. So we're seeing all sorts of things, Jim.
Well, East Brunswick is sending receivers long and short, and it's kind of difficult for Old Bridge to cover. But I'll say one thing: this offensive line is giving
them the time, right?
A lot of time to throw.
Hops at all.
First down on the 19. Hops. Ooh, short pass there.
And he stepped out of bounds.
Was it in bounds, though, when he caught it, though?
He caught it in bounds
and
inadvertently just turned around and stepped out of bounds.
And that was Merchant.
I'll tell you, Scott Hops showing a touch pass right there this time. Just sort of laid it in there.
I just keep on watching the flow of the receivers, and there's a lot of people open.
It might be a sign of things to come. Of course, the Bears years ago did run the run and shoot, Jim.
Yep.
And we're talking about quarterback and maybe adjusting your offense to the talent you have, but we'll have to wait and see.
This is the shotgun again. Watch Petty. He has been open all day. There's a rifle pass.
Oh, he caught it one hand.
What a catch.
He caught it one hand.
I want to tell you, he caught that as he was running forward. He reached out behind him with his left hand and somehow gathered that in.
All right, that's who's that, 25?
That's Merchant.
Eric Merchant, you're right.
And that ball's down on the 1 yard line.
A super catch.
That might be the best catch this year I've seen.
One hand.
And, boy, I'll tell you what, now the Bears can do what they like to do and utilize that offensive line with the surge.
You're going to see Mr. Hops with the quarterback sneak, push his big body through there.
Well, you've got also number 20 back there, Pleasant. And the give, no signal yet. Now it is.
It's in there.
And it looks like Corio was the one that scored that. Or was it Bettis?
Bettis comes up limping.
Yeah, I'm watching that. Regardless, we don't have the official word on who scored that because both Corio and Bettis were behind there. Nonetheless, with 9:29 left to go in the second period, East Brunswick notches a touchdown. Boy, that was fun to watch.
It was a fun drive there. And
all right, the all-important extra point by Shull.
Oh, it is blocked. As the cheerleaders yell, block that point, it is blocked. Okay, so the extra point missed. Nevertheless, Bettis' touchdown puts the Bears in the game here, Jim.
Score is 7-6 with 9:29 left to go in the second period. Both teams with things to think about.
I'll tell you, first time I think we've seen anyone blow through like that to block a kick on the extra point on the Bears.
Well, one thing I will say, Bob DeMarco, as well as Marcus Borden, are both excellent coaches and can adapt very well. So, you know, there'll be a lot of talk during halftime.
Again, number 27, going back.
Bettis will kick off for East Brunswick. Deep for Old Bridge will be number 27. That is John Barrett. And looks like number 13, I believe.
Jose Rosa. And a sort of different angle. Bettis is lining up that ball there, Jim.
Yeah, I noticed that. You don't think what I'm thinking, do you?
I don't think so.
Okay. But it might be thinking about an onside. That ball takes a nice roll. Rosa with the ball, and he's got room.
Oh, and a game-save, touchdown-saving tackle by Petty. Adam Petty, shoestring tackle there. If he doesn't make that tackle, Jose Rosa is gone.
So the ball is on the 45-yard line of Old Bridge. Seven to 6, the Purple Knights ahead here in the second half.
And you won't see the Knights change. They're going to be true to that wishbone. Oh.
Lanzafama
pulls it down. It takes off.
Good tackle there by Corio.
I'll tell you, fine tackle by Corio.
That looked like it could have gone for a lot more.
Okay, Lanzafama going back, faking a dive off the wishbone and looking for that tight end, I believe, who was covered. And
Justin Daly was the receiver,
right.
But good coverage there by East Brunswick. Look where Serapin's playing, Phil. Lanzafama met by Petty.
Ooh, a fine tackle by Adam Petty. Petty with two very fine. You're talking about Serapin. You know when Serapin went there? Serapin was sort of placed there after the Servo game.
Okay.
After that last-second touchdown there, Marcus wanted a hitter back there and somebody with a little bit more speed, and thus Serapin's been there.
Well, it's not to show off anybody because Joel Serapin has already has a full scholarship to James Madison. Third down and 3.
That's Barrett.
And he's going to have just enough, I believe, for a first down.
John Barrett on the guard.
John Barrett, number 27.
And are they going to measure here? Nope. First down signaled.
Okay, Barrett's in, and you see Postel coming in. So you got, DeMarco has 2 freshmen in the backfield there.
That's interesting.
2 outstanding freshmen, I might add.
Lanzafama gives it to Postel. Oh, yeah, you could tell he's a player.
Postel.
Good move.
Mercy.
Thankfully, a good tackle there by Yesner.
Yesner coming up and make the tackle, and Postel, I'll tell you, if you want to put things in perspective, you got to give the Bears freshman team who had to play against this kid and somehow contained them in a 15-14 win last week. One of the most exciting freshman games I've seen ever.
First down again for the Knights. They're on the move. Lanzafama turns around, gives it to Barrett, though.
And
stopped.
He swarmed under. You got Corio on top, and on the bottom you got...
Looks like, is that Saunders? Or Brenner?
Let's see. Brenner. Jason Brenner, number 42.
All right, the Knights are momentarily stopped. Bringing up a 2nd and 10. 7:15 left to go in the second quarter. 7-6 Old Bridge. Lanzafama fumble by Postel. Ball still there loose.
The Bears recover.
You know, I was going to say something. When you have freshmen in there, you have the possibility of mistakes.
That's part of the price you pay. And Petty has been the man on the spot, is coming up with 3 big tackles so far in this game, and then he recovers the fumble there.
All right, and that drive for Old Bridge stopped, ball on the 25-yard line.
But you make a good point, Jim. It's not just the tenderness of a freshman, but if you're not used to having a guy in there, too. You bring a guy up, you're not used to the feel of things like that are going to happen.
All right. Mironov being attended to here. It doesn't look like he's playing anymore for the rest of the day.
No, he's done, and that's a shame.
Yeah.
Senior, Wesley the senior, and that hurts more than the injury, the fact that he won't be playing the rest of this game.
All right, East Brunswick back to its conventional wishbone. Hops gave the ball to Bettis, who gets good yardage.
Beatty, the ball carrier.
A good 6 yards on that play, so we'll make it 2nd and 4.
Okay, and with that dive, you can expect the Bears to go back to the wishbone. I mean, they got their fullback going. Again, in the wishbone, if you can get your fullback going, you can sort of get everything else going. So when your fullback picks up 6 yards on the first down there, they're going to stick with the wishbone. You won't see any passing there. They're going to stick with the wishbone and see if they can get it back in gear again. Try to keep the Knights off balance.
This is Hops. Long signal this time.
Counter.
Good counter there. And some tough yards by Corio. Sorry, that's Corio.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes the stop. 3rd down.
And again, it's about 2 on the play, making it 3rd and 3.
And if things hold the form, you got your fullback Bettis there, but usually Hops has a keeper about this time here. However, they have been on him. They have been reading him well.
Yes, they have. 3rd and 3. Hops, don't know what happened on that one. I think he fumbled the ball from center.
Again, Jim, for quarterbacks, one of the toughest offenses to run there because it is a complete read. It's all done by feel. You put the ball in there for the fullback. You decide either to let him keep it or not. I think the fullback was clamping down on it while Hops was pulling out on it, and that's what happened.
Okay, so East Brunswick will come up short on that 3rd down, making it 4th and 2. We've seen one block punt already, and the other kick by Bettis wasn't the best, so he's going to look to get a good one off here. Postel is back for Old Bridge, as is number 82. That's Swanson. No rush. And a better kick. Swanson has it.
Oh, wow.
Has some room. And finally tackled at about the 47-yard line of Old Bridge.
Okay, Anthony Alexander coming in there to make that tackle there.
The field's starting to get a little torn up there in the middle.
Yep. Okay, the wishbone offense is the type of offense which is fine as long as you have the lead, Jim. When you have the lead, you can sit on it and control the ball. When you're behind, not a good offense to play from behind.
Lanzafama keeps it himself, pitches wide to.
Oh, Serapin.
That's Barrett, and he is lassoed. Was it Serapin that was the one?
Well, Serapin slowed him down.
Okay.
Serapin swung him around until the rest of the posse came around. And Serapin, we said we'd talk about him, and here's a young man who set a record with, he had 7 quarterback sacks against Perth Amboy for minus 33 yards, 19 tackles. Count them, Jim, 19 tackles against Perth Amboy.
2nd down, about 15. Lanzafama is going to throw. And caught by the same one that was tackled before. That's Barrett. And so they get that yardage back plus. Let's say up to about the, into the East Brunswick territory, as a matter of fact, on about the 45.
I'll tell you what's a little scary, Jim, in the future of the Bears. When you think about how many teams they've played that have been young teams, Woodbridge claims to be a very young team. Saraville is a very young team. And then you have Old Bridge here with these young players playing and whatnot, many of them coming back.
Old Bridge needing just 2 yards for a 1st down off that pass. And the give to, again, it's Barrett, and he roughs his way up for looks what appears to be a first down.
And Adam Goldstein in on the tackle there, and nevertheless, I think the young man picked the first. No, whether or not, yes, he did.
All right, the official gives them a first down, so there's 3:40 left to go in the second quarter, with the Knights holding a 7-6 lead over East Brunswick. Thought East Brunswick had the Knights in trouble there with that loss by Barrett, but they come right back. And receivers to the left. Give up the middle to number 49.
He fumbles.
Who has it?
There's a fumble on the play.
East Brunswick.
All right.
Recovered by East Brunswick.
And coming up with that ball is number 6, Yesner.
I'll tell you, Mike Keller, the single back in the backfield there, Jim. They
Right.
spread everything out wide, gave the dive to Mike Keller. He broke through the line, picked up some good yardage, got hit, and fumbled the ball, and the Bears have a great opportunity.
So that was the second fumble by Oldbridge. And East Brunswick dodges a bullet there.
And again, Jim, young teams tend to do that. Mike Keller, 5'11", 175-pound junior.
All right, now East Brunswick is going back to the shotgun, Phil.
Right.
Back to back.
Good throw.
Oh.
Nope, a little behind.
He sort of put something on that.
Yeah. Boy, he has a good arm, doesn't he?
He has a good arm. It's surprising.
Merchant was the intended receiver.
Second down.
I'll tell you what, if he made that catch,
he'd be the Merchant of Venice.
Yes, he
Or
would.
he'd be the Merchant of East Brunswick anyway.
all right, so it's a 2nd and 10 for the Bears. Hops in a shotgun. Receivers all over the place.
Look in by,
American. I think he wanted to run the
well,
ball, huh?
We've seen it time and time again in high school ball there.
Yeah.
It was a quick look in there. Hops took something off on that ball. Usually he might zing that ball in there. He took something off on it, and American just took his eyes off the ball, looking in to see where he was going.
Phil, I got to tell you, I've been keeping my eye on Petty. He is open. Sooner or later, they're going to have to find him.
Well, let's see if they do, Jim.
3rd and 10 for the Bears. And Hops kind of trapped in a kind of a smart play, I think.
He swarmed under. He lost yardage though, Jim. He lost about 4 yards.
Yet better than throwing it up in the air
That's
and
for sure.
having it intercepted. So East Brunswick will have to punt here. Clock continues to move with 2:40 left to go in the second quarter. Oldbridge leading 7-6. Both teams scoring touchdowns, but a missed extra point, actually a blocked extra point by East Brunswick. Postal and Swanson deep again.
For the night. Playing for the Bears, number 26, Chris Beatty.
Bettis gets it off. It's a low line drive kick. Goes over the head of Saunders.
Great bounce.
And good situation for the Bears now, as that ball bounds all the way down to the 17-yard line. You know, I've been noticing that Bettis being in there on offense and defense, he doesn't have an opportunity to clean himself up, and so his hands are dirty. Sometimes it's difficult just to get that kick off.
People have been wondering about his kicking game, why he was better as a sophomore seemingly than he is as a senior. Bettis has gone through a lot of changes. His body has changed. He's bulked up. He's gone to a lot of summer camps and whatnot. And a lot of times when you do all that, the bulking up and everything else, it can detract from your naturalness of kicking, and I think some of that may have happened with him.
All right, Oldbridge has the capability of a quick strike with this wishbone, so we'll watch. First down for them. And not much there.
Nowhere.
You wonder if East Brunswick is going to consider calling timeout.
You got Brenner, Corio, and Benson.
Minute 45. 2nd and 9 for Oak Ridge. Ball on the 18-yard line. Lanzafama keeps it himself. He gets nothing.
Oh, wow.
And now you ought to see a timeout here. Let's see.
And once again, the Bears got Corio Hops.
No timeout. And clock continues to run, Phil.
And Bettis. Oh, they're probably going to. They have that 7-6 lead, Jim. They don't want to make any mistakes here, and
I just don't understand it.
Well, apparently they're going to be satisfied to go in with the lead there. They also don't want to turn it back over to the Bears.
3rd and 7. Here comes Brenner.
Oh, yes.
He's got him. And now let's see him call a timeout now.
Jason Brenner storming in from the left side there, just levels Lanzafama.
All right, they finally do.
And now they're going to have to change of possession. Well, Bears call timeout.
Right. I maintain, Phil, that they probably could have saved about another 30 seconds on the clock if they had utilized one more timeout.
You're talking about
East Brunswick.
Well, they figure they're going to get good field position here. They're going to be passing, I believe. And if they get something, fine. If they don't, they go in at halftime.
You make a good point.
Yep.
In that with the shotgun, you tend to have use less time.
Right.
But East Brunswick should get the ball in good field position on this 4th down. Ball's on about the 15-yard line. East Brunswick is down 7-6, so they're going to hope to punch something in before this half concludes.
And you see the Bears come back out after their timeout taken on the sideline with their coaches. Bob DeMarco still out there in his huddle.
And American is the lone deep back for the Bears. He's on about his own 50. Punter for Old Bridge is number 32. That's Shanks.
And
that's not a good name for a punter.
Hoping he doesn't shank one.
And he doesn't get a good kickoff, but it bounces and gets a decent roll, and the ball is going to be on the 45-yard line, where East Brunswick will have 29 seconds left and see if they can get a score.
Well, you got to believe they're going for something. When you think, I mentioned the 3 games where East Brunswick has been beaten in seconds, Jim. I mean, South Brunswick, Piscataway, and Serval. And they have some seconds here yet to try to take the lead.
Well, they also have 2 timeouts. And let's see what happens here. Shotgun formation.
Pleasant and American spread left.
Hops fumbles the ball.
Mercy.
And
I think the Bears recovered.
Right.
Recovered by the Bears.
And East Brunswick calls timeout again.
Okay, I think
one left.
Larry Benson, I believe. No, Anthony Alexander, I believe, recovered that. But again, Hops seemed to be looking upfield, and ball got there a little sooner than he thought.
Well, again, you see him wiping off his hands.
Yeah.
One of the liabilities of being an offensive and defensive player is that you don't get off the field.
Well, and his hands have to be cold by now, Jim. Ours certainly are.
Cold and muddy.
That's right. But you see Marcus Borden out there in the huddle, and Marcus is going to try to get something before this half is out. And you got to give Marcus credit for making the adjustment early on after he saw that the traditional wishbone wasn't going anywhere on the Knights, and switched to his passing game. And the passing game has paid dividends thus far. And you see Bob DeMarco out there as well. Bob DeMarco talked about how devastating this season has been to his kids. He didn't really say much to himself. The fact is, he says he's been there before. 1990 with Madison Central, he went 1-8. 1985, he went 1-8. So he's been there before, and he knows he'll bounce back. Of course, in 1988 and 1989, he had those state championship teams that eased the pain a little bit.
Well, we remember them quite well.
Oh, yeah.
Because in both years, they eliminated East Brunswick. Long pass downfield, a little low. And So that's going to make it, I believe, is that okay, third down now.
I'll tell you, Pleasant out here to the left, man, and Hop's not looking that way, but Pleasant looked like he was by himself.
15 seconds left to go. Third and 13.
And you figure 2 more plays here.
Okay, shotgun formation. Hops.
Ooh, oh, mercy,
rush.
number 32. I'll tell you, blown in there for the Knights. And that's Pat Shanks, I told you, ferocious linebacker, one of the leading tacklers for the Knights, and he blew right in there on Hops, and I think that's it.
Yeah, that's the end of the second quarter. So as you see, the teams go off the field. The score is 7-6, Old Bridge in favor. And it was a half where East Brunswick did some things a little bit different.
Right.
And
they made the adjustments where they had to make the adjustments there. The Knights, of course, got off, Jim, on that big play. I mean, East Brunswick had contained them pretty much. And then Kruswinski on that sweep around the right side on the pitch took it in.
Okay.
And, but a pretty even game.
It has been, and obviously this game is up for grabs. So with the score 7-6, Old Bridge over East Brunswick on this Thanksgiving Day game, we're going to take a break, and we will be back with the second half action in just a moment.
and gentlemen, the East Brunswick Bears Band.
All right, we are back.
We're back, but we're back amidst controversy, Jim.
I'll say.
The booing that you just heard a little while ago had to do with the band. Old Bridge band walked out on the field want to play, and the officials told them, hey, it's time to start the second half.
Well, the problem is that usually on a traditional game, the away band will play before the game.
Right. And
then the home band plays during halftime, but this time the East Brunswick band played. And then when it was time for the Old Bridge band to go out on the field, apparently the football officials, ruled that time was out, and they wanted to get this game underway. I think they want to go home and eat.
It's cold out here. You had you had the band parents yelling, "Let them play! Let them play!"
Right. So the score is 7-6 Old Bridge as we're about to begin the second half.
And we are here for a football game.
Right. Knights are going to kick off. Receiving for East Brunswick is Bettis. I believe that's him.
For the Bears, number 29, Sean.
No, that's Corio. And Shanks lofts one deep. Petty's going to gather it in. And some good hitting right there. Petty is surrounded, though, by Old Bridge players and advances the ball to the 30-yard line, where East Brunswick will start to begin the second half. If you joined us now, Old Bridge was first on the board on a 24-yard touchdown. Was that by Krasinski?
Right.
Okay. In the first quarter, conversion on the point was good. Then East Brunswick resorted to a shotgun, advanced all the way down the field, and a 1-yard run by Bettis made the score 7-6. The point was blocked. And so that's the difference in the margin as we begin here now in the second half.
And that's where we stand, and here come the Bears.
Hops gives to Bettis, gets some good yardage.
And Bettis picks up 3 good yards there.
Right. We noticed that Pleasant is in the backfield as well. So a gain of about 5, make it 2nd and 5. There's an awful lot of unhappy band parents here.
Awful lot of unhappy band parents.
Yeah.
And you will hear about it, Jim.
Oh, yeah. Give is to Bettis up the middle. He's got some good room. Bounces off of one tackler. And that's good for a first down.
I'll tell you, Chris Bettis with good hard running there and diving and get past. He was already past that first down. Had to be a little careful, though, Jim. He put that ball out in front of him as if he needed to pick up another yard. And could have turned it over. Got to remember to tuck that ball in.
So first down here to begin the second half for the Bears. Fumble? No?
No, Bettis just stopped, nailed. Again.
And a gain of about 1 yard on the play, making it second down.
You had Harry Crowder, the linebacker, in on that play there for the Knights. Okay, they're bringing them in tight, Jim. They've run consecutive plays to the fullback here. Let's see what they do from here.
Hops pitches. Corio with it.
Ooh.
But they close in on him nicely.
I'll tell you, they closed in on very, very nicely. Got number 56 there, Greg Kulik.
And Shanks was there
and
as well.
Pat Shanks, of course, that linebacker who's everywhere.
So no gain on that play, makes it 3rd and 9. Field looks a little roughed up.
And here we go with the shotgun, Jim.
Okay. Hops looks to the left.
Green.
And there's Merrick, and he's got some blockers. But no, he bounces off one tackle.
Oh, wow.
And strives forward for a first down.
Just a fine effort by American. Finally brought down by the freshman Postel. But American bouncing off several players to pick up that all-important first down.
Well, this time he looked to catch the ball first before he ran with it.
Exactly.
At the Old Bridge 44-yard line.
Remember in the first half, he dropped the ball on an easy one.
Looking where he was going before he caught the ball. This time he caught it and
got a lot of positive yardage after he caught it.
Ran with some conviction.
So East Brunswick is in Old Bridge territory, down on the 44-yard line. Another first down, second one of this march. And the give is to Pleasant. Bounces to the outside.
Ooh.
And gets a good couple of yards there.
I'll tell you, good effort by Pleasant. Again, Postel, the freshman, coming up, along with number 13, Jose Rosa.
All right, we have somebody down now for East Brunswick. Let's check. I don't know if that's Pete Borden, number 61.
Can't really tell, Jim.
Or Anthony Alexander, perhaps.
Official timeout.
Now, 61 is Alexander. I don't know that is he down, but
well, if it is, he has been an important cog, a junior, in this offensive line. 5'10", 191 pounds. Let's wait. I believe it's Alexander that saw it down. All right, they're checking a leg.
At the conclusion of today's game, there will be several awards presented.
So what do you think they're going to do, Phil? They're going to make the crowd stay after the game and listen to the band?
I don't know, but knowing how influential, you think a couple years back where several band parents flexed their power there and they created great havoc for, I think, Sal Mastretta and his football team over there. And the point is, they'll tell you that, hey, listen, our kids practice just as hard as the football players do.
This is true.
Practice as often, and when we have an opportunity to perform, we think we should perform. But again, you're right, Jim. Usually that stuff is straightened out. One team will perform before the game starts and one performs at halftime. Officials came out, made it very clear. This is a football game. Halftime is over, and we're ready to play football. So, and they proceeded to play football, but you can best believe that you hear a little bit more about it. Again, the young fella still seems to be down.
Yeah, and they're looking around. I think they may bring a cart on the field. So a momentary stoppage of play here with 8:32 left to go in the third quarter.
And I think we got it.
Old Bridge leading 7-6. And I'll tell you what, if they are in fact going to get the rescue squad on the field, why don't we take a quick break here, and we'll be back when the action resumes. Okay, we are back. It was Anthony Alexander, the injured East Brunswick player, who's being taken off in a cart. And we'll resume here with a second down for East Brunswick on the, let's say, about the 38-yard line of Old Bridge. 2nd and 4. Hops is going to throw, it looks like. But no, he's
swarmed under.
Yeah, couldn't find a receiver.
I'll tell you, got number 64 there.
That was an important stop.
Brian Zumnowski and Jason Smith in on the tackle there. And again, Anthony Alexander, a fine player for the Bears, 5'10", 191-pound junior, is taken off in a wagon, and we certainly hope he's all right, Jim.
And he has been an important offensive lineman for East Brunswick, and he'll be back next year. So that loss makes it 3rd and 8 for East Brunswick. This is the shotgun. Shanks.
And I tell you, they're in on him once again. Once again, Jason Smith putting the pressure on Hops.
And so East Brunswick will be faced with a punting situation. 4th down and about 8 yards to go. They trail 7-6 in this closely contested game. At stake, the Battle of Route 18 trophy.
I'll tell you, nice trophy too. I saw it, Jim.
And they also award trophies for the outstanding offensive and defensive players from each team.
That's right.
And we might want to think about who we might pick for East Brunswick, Phil.
Okay.
All right.
We can think about it.
They're certainly not going to use our guidance in choosing who wins the trophy.
Our track record hasn't been bad, though.
That's true.
Years gone by.
Yeah. All right, there's a timeout by East Brunswick. Don't know why. Could have been 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, there's 10 players on the field.
Well, what happened is when Pete Borden went out, someone is to take his place. And,
right. Well, Mineta is now coming in. But don't they have like a set punt team? You would think that when the coach says punt, that automatically triggers something in the mind. Well, you do have a set team, but
the point is that Alexander was a part of that team, and the person who is supposed to pick up his spot when he's hurt. He hasn't been hurt this year, so it's the first time it's happened.
Okay.
And the young fella just didn't realize he's supposed to be in there.
All right, so could be a costly timeout. We'll see. Has to be used by East Brunswick. Bettis will punt from his 45. And East Brunswick would really like to get Old Bridge back in its own territory on this one. It's a good snap. Bettis gets the kickoff. It's a roller. It doesn't look like there's going to be a run back on this.
Frickner just lets
nice.
it go.
And that ball is on the 5-yard line. An excellent kick by Chris Bettis. And if East Brunswick ever wants to shut down Old Bridge, this is the time to do it.
Okay, I'm watching Kevin Frickner as he goes out. Nobody says anything to him. So apparently he was told to let it go.
7 minutes and 23 seconds left to go in the third period. Old Bridge holding on to a 7-6 lead. And now this is where the wishbone tends to be dangerous. However, Barrett was tackled for about a 3-yard gain.
Okay, and Hops and Brenner appear to be on the tackle.
For some reason, Phil, this is always when Old Bridge seems to be able to break a long one.
When they're deep in their own territory?
Yeah, and the defense is honing in on stopping them.
Well, they had the horses to do it in years gone by, Jim.
Somebody moved. Believe the Old Bridge off right guard.
And they're pushing themselves deeper, Jim.
And that could be a costly penalty. At this point, it's, let's see, half the distance. Since we're inside the 10-yard line.
And that's dangerous for anything. Certainly they're not going to pass from there. If they try to pitch from there, Jim, that could be dangerous. Certainly a turnover that deep in their territory.
All right, ball on the 4-yard line. It's 2nd and 12. Lanzafama has nowhere to go with it.
And the middle of that East Brunswick line slams them down. And they're
3rd down. This is an important 3rd down. East Brunswick would dearly like to stop Old Bridge and force them to kick in their own territory.
Either way, they should end up with excellent field position, providing they stop them.
And that's what they have to do right now. 3rd and 10. Lanzafama, here comes Brenner. And Lanzafama nowhere to go with it.
Oh, and he is racked.
And a good sequence by the East Brunswick defense. Forcing Old Bridge into a punting situation on about their own 5-yard line. So Merrigan is going to be the lone deep back. No, I'm sorry, Petty will join him. And they're going to be setting up shop on about the 35, 40-yard line, let's call it. And hopefully East Brunswick can get a good shot here. Shanks is going to be the kicker, and he's deep on his own back line. He's got to watch he doesn't go beyond that, or it would be a safety. Low kick, low snap, I'm saying. And they let it roll. No, Petty picks it up.
And tackled right away.
Good pickup by Adam Petty, Phil. That ball would have rolled another 5 yards at least.
You're right. Okay, the Bears with excellent field position. They appear to be on the
34.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, Shanks was lucky to get that off. That snap rolled once, and he made a nice pickup.
Okay, the question is, will they come out in the wishbone set or the passing set, Jim?
We'll find out in a moment here. 5:23 left in the third period. It is the wishbone.
Well, it's not quite the wishbone, but it's not really their passing set neither.
Okay. give is to Bettis.
Chris Beatty takes the handle.
And he gets about, let's say, I think 5 yards on that play.
5 good yards.
Jonathan Smith makes the stop. Gain of 4. Second out.
And I believe that Borden may elect to just grind it out here and see if this offensive line can do its job.
30-yard line.
You got Greg Jimenez in there, as well as Greenhut, Borden, Manetta. Pleasant,
Ooh,
nothing.
Nothing whatsoever.
Pleasant, ball carrier. Brian Demosky makes the stop. Along with Greg Cooler.
And with no gain on that play, that makes it 3rd and about 5.
And that's Zumnowski again, number 64.
Now, Phil, this is 2-down territory. Now,
down.
you think they might go to the shotgun on this?
I think they're going to the air, yeah.
Yes, it is. All right, now we've been mentioning that Petty.
Well, they got to look for American their money right here.
Okay. Hop steps up. We're going to get a holding penalty.
And if it's not holding, Hops has the first down. But you're right, Jim. Flags all over the place. And
actually, they tackled the tackle. And that is a very inopportune penalty for East Brunswick. They would have had the first down. But from that spot of the foul, that's going to probably bring the ball all the way back to midfield and make it a 3rd and long for East Brunswick. They need to get to the 25 for a first down.
And I'll tell you, Hops, anytime he goes back to pass, he really hasn't had too much time.
He hasn't had a lot of time, that's true.
The Knights have put a whole lot of pressure on him, and this 3rd down, they're going to have to pass from here, Jim. You might look for that look in with American.
Take a look. I'm surprised where they marked that. It should be a lot more. Nonetheless, Hops throws long. Oh, what a catch!
No, he dropped it, Jim.
Did he drop it?
He dropped it, Jim.
Oh, looks like American went up just a little too early.
Went up, the timing was off a little bit. American tried to pull it in and couldn't quite pull it in.
And East Brunswick will once again punt. I'm not quite sure why they marked that ball only back to the 42.
Well, it was 10 yards from the line of scrimmage, Jim.
Yeah. But I thought I thought it was from the spot of the foul.
No.
Okay. All right, Bettis is going to kick again. And East Brunswick loses a golden opportunity there.
Ooh.
Good kick again by Bettis. Fair catch signaled by Swanson. And the Knights with a little better field position on their own 15-yard line.
The award-winning Oak Ridge Marching Knights band will perform.
3:44 left to go in the 3rd period.
3:44 and the temperature's dropping.
I was just going to say the same thing. It's getting a little cooler.
Jeez.
Did you come prepared, sir?
I feel pretty good. Just the feet,
Well, the coffee's finally worn off, though.
The coffee we stood in line to get that we couldn't get.
Yeah.
At the conclusion of the performance by the Marching Knights.
All right, we must have a timeout on the field. I didn't notice anybody call timeout, but
the Battle of Route 18
of course, our onside crew here, Dave and Peter, had nice hot chocolate themselves.
Yeah, that thermos is empty now, though.
They shared between themselves.
Right. So if you notice any shaking on your screen, it's my feet going up and down.
Okay, again, Jim, we have the timeout. You have DeMarco out on the field there, and
right.
You have Nick Spadafino, I believe, out on the field talking to his defensive troops here. And DeMarco clearly doesn't want a turnover of any sort. He wants to make sure they execute properly here. And at the same time, Nick is exhorting his troops to play the ball, do it the way they practiced it.
All right, we're set to go.
The first and 10 from the 15.
And give up the middle is to Barrett. And he's still driving.
And Barrett picks up about 4 yards, Jim. 5 yards.
More than that. I'd say a good 6.
6?
Yeah.
All right.
And I think Old Bridge is going to be a little bit conservative here. They certainly do not want a turnover. Lanzafama pitches it out to Barrett. It's got some room. Petty closes in on him, but still good yards. That's one of the few times that Old Bridge has been able to get outside on East Brunswick.
You're right, Mike. Krasinski for the touchdown, and Barrett right there.
And first down up to the 30-yard line for the Knights. Gets them out of some tenuous field position.
1st and 10 Knights from their 30-yard line.
And they'll stick with the wishbone, Jim. Nothing fancy. They'll grind it out here. Try to get the machine going.
Lanzafama, no, I'm sorry, he gives it off. That's that deception. And I believe it was number...
Keller on the card.
Number 49, I believe.
Yeah, Keller.
Gain of 2. Second down.
Mike Keller, a 5'11", 175-pound junior. It's the first time we called his name this afternoon.
Another underclassman.
Gain of 2 brings up 2nd and 8. Lanzafama gives it off again. Not much.
And again, the Bears doing a good job down in the middle of that line.
Keller again, the ball carrier.
And Jason Brenner, you see coming up off the pile there, making a tackle along with Pete Borden.
Gain, let's say 3 yards, making it 3rd and 5. Minute 50 left to go in the third period. Old Bridge ahead 7-6. All the scoring in the first half. And a little bit confusion, perhaps. Okay. Lanzafama gives it to Barrett, and he's closed in on.
Mercy.
Gang tackles.
I'll tell you, Serapin.
The numbers are starting to become obscure.
Hops.
Yeah, Hops, the quarterback.
And I think Brenner over there again.
I think we can't understate that Scott Hops is an excellent defensive player as well.
Well, I've said time and time again, if he only had to play defense, he happens to lead this team in tackles with 70-something tackles coming into this game, 72, I believe. But again, a number of Ivy League schools looking at him. He's an excellent student.
All right, the 4th down has Shanks punting and almost blocked. Gets off a good one. American lets it bounce. Ooh. And fortunately for East Brunswick, it doesn't roll back too far. But you notice field position is starting to change here.
Definitely
Phil.
so. Definitely
East
so.
Brunswick had Old Bridge backed all the way up, and now East Brunswick's going to have to go 70 yards for a touchdown. Just 43 seconds left to go in the third period as the Bears will try once again.
Bears, however, appear to have the ability to go that long distance quicker than the Knights. The Knights will stay with that wishbone true to form, whereas the Bears can switch to the passing game.
Right.
However, it has gotten a lot colder, a lot more difficult to hold that ball or to pass that ball.
Hops will call signals, and it looks like he's going to pass it. Merrigan open. Okay. And he steps out of bounds just maybe short of the first down marker.
9-yard pickup for the Bears there. Nice pass. Hops just flicked his wrist and laid it out there to Merrigan.
Phil, he stepped out of bounds, but all he had to do was just dive forward.
Didn't quite know where he was, and yet he knew there was a defender up on him, Jim.
Let's see, what are they going to do here? Are they going to measure?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's close.
We probably see Bettis coming through to pick up this first down here.
I imagine Merrigan thought he had a first down. Nonetheless, it's second and about a length of a football, it looks like. So there's the give.
And Bettis does get the first down.
And let's see, clock says 30 seconds. They stop it momentarily to advance the chains.
On the tackle.
And they will start the clock. And let's see, are they going to get this play off?
And I tell you, you got to wonder how Scott Hops is holding the ball. It's with the wind chill here, it's tremendously cold right now, Jim.
Clock continues to run under 10 seconds now. And there's the give to Bettis. And that's going to do it for the third quarter as he picks up maybe 2-3 yards. So with 15 minutes left to go in this season, unless we go to overtime.
Dare you speak that.
Yeah.
But it's been a good game, a very balanced game thus far for 3 quarters, Jim. 7-6 Knights lead, but they've gone back and forth each team.
You know, I got to tell you, I'm wearing 3 pairs of socks, and I'm starting to feel it in my feet. It must be cold for the players.
Very.
And we also noticed that the wind seems to be picking up a little bit.
The wind chill factor, and it makes it very difficult down on that open field there. And again, I don't see any. I don't know if they allowed them anymore. The warmers that the players are used to have around the waist.
They just announced that the band is going to perform after the game.
Okay, I'm sure they'll have some faithfuls that will stay around, Jim.
Oh, yes. All right, 2nd and 7 as we begin this fourth quarter for East Brunswick. Ball's on about their own 43-yard line. Hops back to pass, whips it over to Merrigan, who makes the catch.
And for a first down.
And that's right, this time he's over the first down marker.
Number 86.
And again, Hops doing a good job just to get that ball off.
East Brunswick has had much of its success this afternoon by throwing the ball. Nothing fancy either. Just some down and out patterns by Merrigan. He's got about 4 or 5 catches so far. So a first down for East Brunswick on the Old Bridge 47-yard line. Bettis with it. Drives forward for some good yards.
Good hard running by Chris Bettis.
Making a second down. Gain of 4 on the play, so it would be 2nd and 6. I said 15 minutes of football. I meant 12, by the way.
I was keeping that in mind. It's going to seem like 15 anyway. And here we go. Might they pass off this, Jim?
I still maintain Petty could be a key player. There's really just one-on-one coverage right here. Whipped over the top, but the receiver didn't see the ball. That was number 84 for East Brunswick.
Jason Smith gave Hops
Saunders.
a shot.
So it'll be a 3rd and 6.
Third down.
Okay.
And if there's such a thing as an important play in this game, I would say this is it. There's a lot of time left, but East Brunswick really wants to continue this drive.
Okay, maybe we see Mr. Merchant. I mean, seems obvious to go to Merrigan, but
well, Merchant's in the backfield.
Is it Merchant or
He's
McCott?
the lone back. That's right. We don't really know the pronunciation. Pitch is to him, and he is going to get a first down.
That's Corio on that.
Is it Corio?
That's Sean Corio.
Okay.
Good running there to pick up that first down.
Yeah, the numbers are obscure, obviously, from the mud, so we don't. The 25 and the 29, hard to tell. Sean Corio has been a key back all season long for East Brunswick. Gets a key first down in that situation.
Big first down.
And advances the ball to the 35-yard line, where East Brunswick will have another first down. There's about 10.5 minutes left to go. This drive started at almost at the end of the third quarter. So Pleasant and Bettis are the deep backs. Give us to Bettis. Up the middle again.
And hard driving by Bettis.
You know, they've been using that play almost exclusively on first down, Phil.
First down there. Well, it's in the wishbone offense, it's probably the most natural play that comes is giving that ball to the fullback to see if he can establish something. If you can establish something on the first down, it really helps to set up everything else. And when you have a fullback picking up at least 3 yards and whatnot, it allows you to do a lot of other things.
Well, Goldstein has been doing a great job at center all season long. Hops, keeps it himself, but he's racked.
And caught from the backside there. Jason Smith again.
Came right on the back.
You want to start talking about defensive players of the game. Jason Smith, number 30 for Old Bridge's name, starts creeping up in there. Pat Shanks, of course, for Old Bridge. You got to keep his name in there as well.
So it brings up another third down situation for the Bears, 3rd and 7. Okay, 4 receivers for East Brunswick. There's Hops, and
interference.
We have a flag now. Yeah, there's a flag here.
An interception, but interference.
Well, let's see what they call it.
And they're going to call it on the Knights, I believe. Oh, no. There's a flag thrown, Jim, and
they're going to call it on East Brunswick, perhaps.
Offensive interference? Okay.
Yes. No, ineligible receiver downfield.
All right.
Okay, which is negated by the interception. So a first down for Old Bridge. Ball is on about the 17-yard line.
And defender did a nice job for the Knights picking that ball up.
Now time is starting to become a factor. There's 8:59 left to go in the game, and Old Bridge has the ball and the lead, 7-6. Lanzafama gives off, and nothing doing there. Phil, East Brunswick's had its opportunities.
They've had the opportunities, and they got a few more opportunities left, but it's getting slimmer. That's Barrett on the carry there in the middle of that line for the Bears. Jimenez and the rest of the guys on the tackle there. But they still have time, but you're right, they were driving there, and a costly turnover.
Gain of about 3 on that play makes it 2nd and 7. Give this to Barrett again. Gets about 2 or 3, maybe. Well, he has been a workhorse since Miradov went off.
Again, Jim, he's just a freshman. You know, they're building. Just a freshman.
And another key third down situation here, 3rd and 4. Give us to Barrett. He almost shakes the tackle, but no.
I'll tell you, fine job by the East Brunswick defense.
And who was that?
Let's see, on the bottom there is...
that was Jimenez that made that tackle for the Bears.
Jimenez once again, right.
That was an important tackle right there. It forces Old Bridge to punt once more.
So the second half, it's been a defensive battle thus far.
East Brunswick has to be a little wary of a fake here.
No fake, Jim.
Okay. And Shanks receives it, gets a nice kickoff. Somebody's got to catch it. Petty does, bobbles in a moment.
And he's tackled right away. Number 34 for Old Bridge.
You know, Petty and Merrigan were looking at each other, and finally Petty decided, I better take this.
And Rob Rassat on the tackle.
Nonetheless, that outstanding punt by Shanks brings East Brunswick all the way back to its 33-yard line now with 7 minutes left to go. Old Bridge holding the lead, 7-6, scoring in the first half. Traditional wishbone by East Brunswick.
Okay, receiver spread.
Hops looks going to throw though, Merrigan.
And he catches it.
Good catch. There's not really much that can be done about that play if you're an Old Bridge defender.
American goes down, turns in, has his body between him and the defensive player, and catches the ball. And another 8-yard pickup.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're taking a look at it, and they are calling it a second down. Thought for a moment they might measure. Second, let's call it about 2, 1.5 perhaps.
Okay, you might look for the fullback here, but they also can do the counter to Pleasant. who might be able to break one, as he did against South Brunswick.
Give is to Bettis, and no, I'm sorry,
That's
Hops keeps it.
And they're on his case, and they've been on his case. And again, once again, that's Justin Daly, number 99, who has not let Hops get anywhere. Add his name to the defensive player for Old Bridge as well.
And that's a loss of about 2 on the play, bringing up a rather important 3rd down and 3. As the clock continues to move, we're under 6 minutes now.
And this may be Merrigan again.
Hops back to pass, pumps once, finds Merrigan, no.
Just over his head, I tell you, looking for him.
And it's a 4th down, and if you're East Brunswick, you have to make a decision here as to whether to go for it.
Well, you still got plenty of time.
Yeah, there is plenty of time.
Got to kick, Jim.
Yeah. And they should punt.
Got to kick. 5:36 left. They've been playing well defensively. Just got to hold them again, hope to get the ball back, which they have plenty of time to do.
And if you're Old Bridge, you don't want to do anything fancy, and you want to hold on to the ball. Again, it's rather muddy down there. Anything can happen. Saunders goes back.
Punting for the Bears. Jesse Swanson.
Swanson, I'm sorry.
Oh, high snap.
But Bettis somehow gets the ball off.
Fortunately, the Knights weren't coming.
Whoa.
Good bounce.
Good bounce.
A big break for the Bears all the way around. Ordinarily, if you got the rush on there, clearly they would have been able to get Bettis based on the high snap. They didn't have the rush on. Bettis gets the kickoff, gets a good bounce, and places them on the 10-yard line, Jim.
And actually it's the 15, Phil, but it's a good opportune time for a good sequence for East Brunswick right there. I thought for sure that kick was going to be blocked.
If they had the rush on, they would have had it easily.
.5:24, and the clock is stopped for a moment. East Brunswick calls another timeout. That's their second one, leaving them only 1 left.
A player again. That's twice in the game there. And you know Marcus is Levitt.
Oh, boy.
That's twice that's happened. And again, I think that's a result of Alexander being injured and whatnot, and not having the next player ready in line.
Well, East Brunswick is on defense, Phil.
Well, I'm saying, still they would have had, they were short one man in the line, Jim. That's all the more reason you don't want to go a defensive, right here, a defensive series short of a man.
Well, we will see if that having to call another timeout, their second, leaving them only 1, is going to haunt them.
And I tell you, nothing annoys the coach more than that.
Oh. I think it's borders on more than annoyance right here. If I know Marcus, he's not happy at all.
Again, it's been a tough year for the Bear. Missed opportunities. Again, you hate to keep going back to those 3 games that could have gone either way. But certainly would have been a totally different season.
Lanzafama keeps it, but he's wrapped up.
Oh, wow. And then why is the whistle blown so quickly?
And let's see, a little bit of a loss on that play. Making it 2nd and 11.
I'll tell you, once again, Jimenez leading the charge, Jim, and you might want to throw his name in there for the defensive for the Bears. He's been in on a lot of tackles.
Yes, he has. And clock is showing 4:45 remaining in the game. Old Bridge leading 7-6. Lanzafama gives it. No, keeps it himself.
Oh, a good hit by Serpin.
And he was going after the ball as well.
Serpin coming up.
Coming up and really making a saving tackle there. So a gain of about 4 yards on the play, making it 3rd and 6. And East Brunswick really wants to stop them now. Get that ball back.
And Serpin set a record for the most tackles for losses eclipsing Dan Lorenzo's record from 1964. Lorenzo had 6. Serapin
Lanzafama
pitches,
but he doesn't have enough room
nowhere
there.
to go.
And the East Brunswick defense has been doing a fine job all afternoon.
I'll tell you, both defenses have done a fine job defending the wishbone. And we mentioned it, not surprisingly, since both of them run the wishbone, but both of them have done a real fine job in containing it.
Well, Shanks is going to have to get off another important punt. Petty and Merrigan, again, are the deep backs.
I'll tell you, surprised, well.
Clock showing 3:20. Good snap and a nice kick.
Okay.
We got a fair catch call by Petty. And he fields it on about the Old Bridge 48. So East Brunswick will have decent field position here with the clock showing 3:09 left.
3:09.
And remember, now the Bears have just one timeout left.
And you're right, Jim. We're hoping those 2 timeouts to get players in don't come back to haunt them.
And here we go.
Oh, and the wind chill, Jim, is just tremendous right now.
That's Bettis. And they were waiting for him that time.
Well, that's been consistent. That's the way the Bears have started out most of the drives, handing off to the fullback there. He picks up 2 yards right there.
2:55.
I'll give him 2.5.
Whatever. And this is the shotgun now.
Ooh, I'll tell you, looking past.
And we have a flag, a late flag at that. Could it be a hold? They may have called East Brunswick on a holding penalty. Yes, they did.
Looking pass for Brian Schuler. And passed a little low. Schuler making a diving attempt to catch the pass, not able to come up with it.
And that's a tough one in a number of respects.
Which will be followed by the presentation of the award. Again.
Is East Brunswick aware that it's a holding penalty?
The award-winning Old Bridge Marching Knights Band will perform your cordial invite to watch. Thank you.
And Jim, here's where they may have to use both downs, considering that if they have to punt back to East Brunswick to Old Bridge, they have to
be able to stop the clock.
That's right.
Second down, 23. Blocked.
Oh, knocked down. Number 56.
Ball, nice batted down there by number 56 for
Corrigan, Mike Corrigan.
That's Greg Kulik.
Excuse me?
Greg Kulik.
Is that right?
Yes.
I'm sorry. You're right. Corrigan's 56 for the Bears.
So that brings up a third down. And that ball's a little tough to handle, too. Here comes a rush.
Oh!
They got him.
And Justin Daly again. And you know Justin Daly's only job is to stay where hops wherever he goes. And he's been on hops no matter what he's done, whether he's attempting to pass or run the ball. Now, Justin Daly's been there.
It appears as though East Brunswick is going to punt, but I don't see how they can do it because they're not going to have enough time.
I think it's a fake, Jim, or it's got to be. It's got to be. You don't want to get. No, there's no way in the world they can punt here, Jim.
They're going to do it.
There's no way.
I'm telling you.
There's no way they're going to punt here, Jim.
You would think. Meanwhile, they're taking their own sweet time. This makes no sense.
The Knights didn't even have anybody back. That's how so sure they weren't going to punt.
This makes no sense whatsoever.
1:29 left. The Bears have one timeout left, Jim.
And that's the only, and they can only stop the clock once. Old Bridge conceivably can run out the clock now.
Surprising.
Well, unless the Bears have something up their sleeve that we're not aware about,
like you said,
this game is over.
They only have one timeout. The Knights are going to stay true to the form, run the wishbone, hope to pick up some yards there, be lazy about doing things, and hope to run the clock out. You can look for a quick timeout here from the Bears.
Well, they certainly will. This, of course, assumes that the Knights do not get a first down. Well, it's a minute 22.
Well, minute 22 left, and as you say, the Bears are out of timeouts. The Knights have picked up 4 yards there, and they're going to keep that ball on the ground and keep running, even on a 4th down, Jim.
I imagine they would. Well, if East Brunswick somehow can get the ball back, and I really don't know, it's going to be close, but that's going to conclude this season on a down note, losing to Old Bridge. And interestingly, both teams will finish with identical records, 3-6.
And that hasn't happened in a long time for either team. And
no, it hasn't. I don't think Marcus Borden has ever coached a team that has not won at least 4 games.
Yeah.
So we're set to go here with a 2nd down and 6.
Second down. And about 7.
Again, and we believe that East Brunswick has depleted its allotment of timeouts.
There's no doubt about that.
Lanzafame gives it to Barrett, who
picks up a couple yards.
Right. Makes it 3rd down.
That clock is running, Jim. And what the Knights want to do is pick up
a lot of time.
Well, they want to take a lot of time.
And at this point, when they're still marking time, now, and they can just simply let the clock go.
Well, they want to pick up the 1st down to close it out for sure. Either way, they'll run on 4th down themselves.
I believe if they do not have to run another play after this. Well,
and that's it, the 1st down, Jim.
Right, and that's going to do it. Clock showing 34 seconds left to go. And it's going to be a win for Old Bridge.
And it's been a bleak year for Old Bridge. As DeMarco has said, a devastating year for Old Bridge. And to come and win this Route 18 trophy today against their arch rivals, the Bears, have to make their Thanksgiving a little bit pleasant. What happened? Why is the clock stopped, Jim?
DeMarco called the timeout this time.
That's interesting.
Well, at this point, you just want to not give up the football, so he just wants to make sure that everything is straight.
But you're right, 3-6 for both teams. And I tell you, it's been a tough season for the Bears here. A chance of, again, missed opportunities, the 3 games that could have gone either way. They've been a very tough team defensively against the run has been the bright spot for the Bears there. They've had some offensive sparks here and there, Jim, but just not quite enough overall firepower.
And there goes Phil's statistics.
Statistics blowing all over Old Bridge here.
And they'll take a knee on this one. That should be it.
And you're right, Jim.
That's it. Are they gonna run a play?
They don't have to run a play.
They don't have to run a play. But they come up to the line anyway. Want to get that last lick of football in. So we close the curtains on this 1996 season. Old Bridge winning the game 7-6. East Brunswick finishing with a 3-6 mark. Old Bridge as well. And that's going to do it right there.
Oh, wow, they dumped DeMarco with the bucket, man. Can you imagine? The wind chill must be -6 degrees, and they just dumped him, man. He's no hat on or anything.
Yeah.
Ooh, he'll feel that. But Jim, again, it was a fine game, 7-6, a tough battle. Two teams sort of in rebuilding modes, and the Knights come out with it, Jim.
Well, it was a disappointing season for both teams, as you mentioned, and well, you got to like I say, close the curtain on this season, and some fine careers ended by East Brunswick. Scott Hobbs, the quarterback,
That's
Joel
sure.
Serapin,
Chris Bettis, a number of players, Jim. They would have liked to gone out better, but they played hard all year.
All right, well, so with this victory, Old Bridge takes a 2-1 lead in the Battle of Route 18 series. East Brunswick winning 3 years ago, if you remember, and then Old Bridge coming back these last 2 years to win.
And we just hope the series continues, as we mentioned at the top of the game. But, Jim, I'd like to wish you and your family and Pete and Dave, our on-site engineers, happy Thanksgiving.
And the same to you, sir, and your family. And I think that'll do it. So from Vince Lombardi Field, final score, Old Bridge 7, East Brunswick 6. This is Jimmy Allinder for Phil Hill saying, thanks for being with us.